Hi FlossTube, my name's Dana and my channel name is Gemstone Stitches. I also have an Instagram account with the same name, Gemstone Stitches, if you want to follow me there. I am here to do a WIP parade. It's that time of year and I did one around this time last year. So I'm excited to share the progress that I've made from last year up until this year. See how much I was able to accomplish in that whole time span. I did have a few finishes that took my WIP count actually down. I had 21 WIPs last time and I have 19 this time around. Most of my projects, as you'll see, are large, so I don't get a lot of finishes. A lot of these will continue to carry on into next year. There might be 1 or 2 finishes from this list, possibly. So if you don't know already, WIP is a work in progress. So each project I have here is considered one WIP. Real quick, a little bit about myself in case you're new. I live in Vermont in the United States. And it's cold here today. I'm recording on January 6th, I believe, and it was 7 degrees out when I walked the kids to the bus stop this morning. So pretty chilly, but it does have nice seasons, different seasons all year round, although the winters can tend to be a little long. And then I have 3 children, a 4th grader, 1st grader, and then my youngest is 4 years old. They're all out right now at school or daycare, and I took the day off today to just kind of continue to recuperate after the holiday season and do some things here and there. Anything else? I work at home. I used to go into the office, but then COVID happened and they had us work at home and said, hey, that's great. It saves us some money and you guys are still being productive. So we work at home now, which is wonderful. I can't even imagine how it would be to go into the office every day. I just wouldn't have it. It cuts down, getting ready time, commuting time, and I can do little bits and bobs around the house throughout the day during breaks and stuff. So I'm really thankful I am able to work at home. Okay, so let's get started with the WIPs. I'm going from oldest to newest. First up is Peacock Daze. I started this one back maybe 2015, possibly even earlier. This is a Heaven and Earth design full coverage project. Artwork is by Josephine Wall, and I had done almost 2 whole pages of this before I had to scrap it, sadly, because that was a lot of work. I was stitching it according to what it tells you should do, which is 2 strands over 1 on 25 count. And I was trying to struggle through that for a while because it was really my second project I ever cross-stitched, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but realized, I need to do something that's easier and less tight. So I switched to 28 count fabric 1 over 1, which is actually still a little tight. Maybe 25 count is the sweet spot, but 28 count still works, and it provides pretty good coverage, particularly in the darker areas. So this is how far I am on Peacock Daze. I have the top 2 rows of pages completed and 1 page done in the 3rd row and a partial page completed there. I have a little bit where I brought down the stitches in the flower, and then I kind of am working my way a little bit around just so there's not too many sharp edges. I wanted to get 2 full pages done last year, but that didn't happen. I got maybe 1.5 done, not even maybe 1.5. So I'm going to talk about plans as I go. For this project in particular, it is a goal of mine to really make as much progress as I can. And what I'm going to do is pull it out for 1 whole week every month at the least. If not, keep it out and work on it more if I am feeling it and want to keep going along. So we'll see how far I can get doing that, because I do want to eventually finish this project, and if I don't work on it a lot, it just won't ever get done, and it will just linger. And I also want to start one more. I want to do a stitching shelf, and I'm trying not to start that until I have this one pretty well complete, if not complete. I'm trying to be selective on full coverages just because, sorry, that was loud maybe. They take forever, and I like the process of stitching, and I like progress of stitching, and I like to finish things, so I like all of it. The next project that I have is a chatelaine, and it's called Herbularious, the Medieval Herb Garden Mandala. I tried to pull this one out a lot more this year. And let me see which way is up. Okay, gotcha. I saw somebody recently, they stitched an arrow in the center where the big center bead usually goes, which is a smart idea because the arrow gets lost. This is where I am so far. So I got around with these green leaves, I suppose they are. I think there's some flowers coming in, some Jessica stitches for flowers. I am beading as I go for right now, aside from the big center bead. Very pretty. So, wow. Looks a little different. Just in the center there. Got a ways to go. Put this back in the bag. The next one I have is, oh, and that's stitched on a 32 count vintage smoky white linen. The beads are fitting fine, but I don't know if they're just all Delica beads. They're not like Mill Hill regular beads. The next I have is Victorian Dollhouse. Now this one's an interesting one as far as what I plan to do for the year. This is by Joan Elliott. And I am this far along. I'm in the middle of the house there. The top room has been backstitched. This has not been backstitched yet. What I want to do with this project is do a strand a day. And I found that plan from watching a Floss tuber I believe her name is Megan, and she's stitching Moon on Floss Tube. I really enjoy her videos. She has a lot of different kinds of projects, and the scenery in the back of her videos can't be beat. I think last year at some point she decided to do a stranded day on one of her projects, and there might even be a hashtag on Instagram somewhere. I need to look that up. And I had been thinking about that for quite a bit last year and decided I would go ahead and try it out, see if I can do it. And this is a project I want to do a stranded day on. And today's January 6th. I've already done 5 days of strands, and it has helped me get through a lot of the floor here, this whole blank spot of floor. So that wasn't necessarily done in 2024. So I will see how much I can do with that. And from what I understand, you can, if you miss a day, you can do 2 strands the next day kind of thing. Or if you know you're not going to get to it, you can work a few strands in preparation for being busy or something like that. So that's helpful too. It's not hard and fast rules. The next one is called Up on the Rooftop, and it is by Tilton Crafts. The artwork is by Stephen Crisp. This is actually a full coverage, so I have 2. I mean, a lot of mine are basically full coverage. This is kind of a full coverage. The Chatelaine so far. It's my stocking coming up. Yeah, I choose big projects, but this is Up on the Rooftop. And I am stitching this one 25 count 1/1, and I like it better than 28 count. And I am this far along. I was hoping, sorry, there's a string here, which is beautiful. I was hoping to get this page finished, but I did not. December turned out to be a very, very busy. I mean, it was busy, and I just kind of lost that desire to pick up my stitching at night. I was just tired and just had a lot on my mind, making sure we were ready for Christmas and all that sort of thing. So I did not really stitch at all the last 2 to 3 weeks of December. So I do want to bring this out and at least finish this page at the very least, and then maybe even another page on it. There's just a lot more sky to go. I'm right in this part, and then we have another chimney, and these chimneys are very confetti heavy. Next is Celtic Winter by Lavender and Lace, and I'm doing a color conversion on this one. So I didn't want to go with the silver, gray, gold, white. I've seen people do the blue silver on this, and that was definitely what I wanted to go with. I just want to double check. I meant to do this before. This one says 32 count Stormy Night Lugana. This is how far I am. So I have started with the blues. I did her face 1/1 and back stitched it, and then started filling in the blues. And I am definitely bringing this one out for at least 1 week in January, maybe another week in February. See how far along I can get on this one. I really want to see how the colors turn out on this project. And then this project I've been working on a lot since the beginning of the year. It's my stocking. So I've completed a good dimension stocking for the 4 other members of my family, and I'm the last one. This is called Sleigh Ride at Dusk Stocking. It's a Dimensions Gold kit. And I am this far on it. The back stitching is not complete yet. So this is all done through here. Well, there's some bits. And then all this background I've completed, so I'm working on the darker part. This is where there's going to be a big moon. I have my next color loaded and ready here. So my goal with this one is to finish it, completely finish it. So every month I will be working on this for 1 week. And if I see that I still have a lot to go by like maybe July, Christmas in July type time, then I will have to increase that to make sure that I do complete this, because I'd love to be done with stockings for a little while. I do want to do another new one for my son, because his is a little different than everyone else's in the family. I did mention that to him though this Christmas, and he says, no, I love my stockings, so we'll see. Okay, next we need to get into the next pile of things. September Sapphire Fairy by Mirabilia. And I'm stitching this on a 32 count bittersweet light Josephine. My youngest is September. That's why I picked this one. And it's kind of a light orange fabric to pick up on some of the orange tones. Try to see how this even goes. Okay. So I'm at the bottom of the dress here. So I will definitely be bringing this out for a week in September. My girls are still quite young. My middle child, Tinsley, she's 6, and she has a fairy going. And then Tessa's just 4. So I'm not trying to get these done until they're maybe like 13 or something. So just working on them 1 week a year is totally fine for me for right now. I love Josephine. This is actually a restart. I had this much done on it. I need to just get rid of this. But I realized I don't think that there's going to be, I made a huge mistake in not realizing that the fabric was too small. In my head, these were like the little, more like Nora Corbett small Mirabilias, but no, they're pretty big. Okay, the next one is May, my other daughter's fairy. May's Emerald Fairy. I also love gemstones, of course, or birthstones, part of the reason why that's my channel name. So that speaks to me as well, being the Sapphire Fairy and the Emerald Fairy. And here she is. Her head is all done besides beads. Her skin is all done 1/1. Doesn't have arms yet. And then I did the bodice of her dress, which will have all these beads in it as well. There is something going on right there. I don't know what it is. But she's really pretty. I think I added a little extra for her eyelashes, and I made slight changes because sometimes I love Mirabilias, but the hands are like certain angles of their body can look a little wonky to me, so I'll change it up a little bit if I see that it needs to be changed. And then, okay, so I went on a Mirabilia May start a couple years ago, so here's a lot of Mirabilias in a row. This one's called Rapunzel. And she's on 32 count Smoky Pearl Belfast. And our last name begins with R. Let's see. So I've done the top, basically. Not the top, meaning her, but there we go. So the R is done besides beads. Look at all those sparkly vines. And then I worked my way down the arch and counted over to find the start of her hair and all the little roses in her hair. There's gold crinic, some sparkle in there. So just make my way over and start working down here. Very pretty colors with the greens and the pinks. The next one is Cream and Sugar, but this one's by Nora Corbett. It's on 32 count French lace linen. Teacups. And I have a little start on the rose, or no, this one's called Bloom. Right here. Then we have Sleeping Princess, and she is on 32 count blue sapphire linen. And I started in the middle on this one. That's how much I have. Just that blanket, that blue blanket that she's laying on. All right, that's the end of my Mirabilias. The next one, I do plan to do all the Celtic ladies, and these are, I only have 2 started. So I did have winter and then Celtic spring, which I'm leaving as is. Or no, I'm sorry, I'm not leaving as is. I'm changing part of it to be green. And this is where I am. I just did the top part to be a little different from the other one. I'm stitching this one on Sprite Lugana. This is the one I wanted to check. Okay, it is 32 count, good. Because I wrote down 28 count and I thought, no, I want all my stuff, like Mirabilia's, Lavender, and Laces to be 32 count. It is 32. Thank goodness. I'd like them all to be the same size. So maybe I'll pull this one out when spring comes. And then this one is Noah's Ark by Teresa Wentzler. I wanted to try a Teresa Wentzler, which I don't think it ends up being as hard as a lot of what people say because there's no blends. Or I believe there's no blends. But there is a lot of 1/1. Like all the animals on that sides are going to be stitched 1/1. So I got a start on the alphabet, that ombre alphabet, and then I did some of these stitches, these rows in between the main scene and the alphabet. And here's the start of all the water. The boat's going to be in here and a rainbow. And then I have the American flag quilt sampler that I'll bring out. This is just going to be like a lifelong project that I'm going to bring out every like July or yeah, probably July. So it's by Rosewood Manor. I'm stitching it on a 28 count vintage smoky white cassia linen. And I just love how each state has a little quilt block. So I got the first one done, Delaware. That's about where it goes to. I stitched it as it was called for, and there's a lot of little points in there. And I ended up having, it says fill in the gaps as you need to. So I did end up adding a bunch of like partial stitches here and there to fill up the space. The next one is Pennsylvania. And then I have the annual border, which I started with Leah Noel. And her channel name is Rhubarb Patch Studio. This is by The Drawn Thread. And I got this one all kitted up. It's funny, this kit and then the Teresa Wentzler one was a kit, that came with the fabric, I've had to go around and stitch the edges because it's unraveling a lot. Here's how far I am. I got 3 flowers done. Yep. Very pretty. And then next is the Summer Quaker by Lila Studio. I'm stitching this on 46 count antique white Bristol linen. This is a no joke pattern. It doesn't seem like it's that much, I guess, from watching people's videos and when I purchased it, but then when I started stitching it, you know, this scene is full coverage. And this is pretty dense stitching too, all around. So I pulled it out a couple times last year. I wanted to get the lighthouse in, and then I did a little bit more on the little town there, trying to make my way through the water. That's going to be a lot of water. Very cute though. This is, I think, the highest count fabric I've ever worked on. And then Jeweled Elephant I started last year. This is by Shannon Christine Designs. I've seen this stitched up. It's super sparkly with sparkly threads and beads. And here's my start. Just the little head in the corner. It's gonna be back stitched too, so I'll pop even more. And that's stitched on a 28 count tropical green linen. And I have Welcome Autumn. I've already completed Welcome Winter and Welcome Spring. Yeah. So I started Welcome Autumn. Didn't get as far as I would have liked, but since winter's already done, I can pull this out and maybe finish it in a week, because these are small. They seem a lot bigger than they are. The letters go by really quick. So this looks like, let me find it here. This one finished. Probably can't get that done in a week. Who am I kidding? But we'll see how far I can get. I have Welcome Summer as well to do at some point. And I have one that's called Trick or Treat. That's basically the same size as these. That's a cute Halloween. That's on 30 count. 30 count antique lamb's wool linen, and I'm using all the called for fabrics and threads, which is Dinky Dyes. And then my last start of the year is the Brooks Books Advent Animals. And I started on Katie Kitty. You can find these for free download online. And I got a small start on this one here. I'm stitching it on a cobalt Fiber on a Whim, 32 count, cobalt. So lots of blue. And I need to figure out a plan on how to keep on these and finish them because there's 25 of them. So that is all 19 of my projects. I want to finish my stocking and then get a lot of progress on my bigger projects, Peacock Daze, my full coverage, and also I want to pull out my Chatelaine a lot. From there, I want to put a good amount into my Lavender and Lace women just because I am trying to stitch all 4 of them. Mostly the winter one, and then also spring. I have, yeah, there's actually 5 of them. Did I say 4? There's actually 5 because there's a Christmas one with a red dress. And then do my strand a day. Then everything else is just bonus. I have a lot of, not a whole ton compared to a lot of floss tubers out there, but I think I have a lot of stuff waiting in the wings to begin. If I ever get in the starting mood. I kind of mapped out my whole year last year. I was trying to stitch like in 5-day increments on all my projects, and then had planted in new starts. And I think once school started and things just got busier and busier, I started to get off track, I guess. And yeah, I didn't even finish filling out the book of days that I ordered. So that's why this year I kind of just want to say work on this for a week that month, and you know, kind of just see what I feel like plotting in there once I've worked on my focus pieces. So let's see how I do this year, guys. I'll be back next year for a WIP parade, and for my updates throughout the year, I'll come on and show you what I've been working on, share with everybody. I am enjoying watching, well, I have a lot of WIP parades to watch, actually. I'd like to say I'm enjoying watching WIP parades, but yeah, life's just real busy right now, and yeah, I don't have all the, I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks, so I haven't been doing as much floss tube watching as I would like to be doing. But I am looking forward to, I think there's like 10 videos stacked up at this point that I do want to get to watching. And I love, like I said, I love WIP parades. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and subscribe. Welcome if you're a new viewer, and thank you for continuing to watch if you are already subscribed to the channel. Take care, everybody, and happy stitching. Bye.